And now I give the floor to the representative of Russian Federation.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to start by expressing condolences to the families of the killed Palestinians in the Gaza Strip and wish a speedy recovery to the wounded. We mourn together with the Palestinian people. We would like to thank the Special Coordinator, Nikolai Mladenov, for the substantive report. Moscow is deeply concerned by the escalation of tension in the occupied Palestinian territories. It reached a dangerous level against the background of the ceremony which symbolized the beginning of the transfer of the American embassy from Tel Aviv. This also coincided with the momentous date for all Palestinians, the day of catastrophe, or Nakba. The number of victims is something that is a cause of serious concern, and we share all the feelings expressed by Security Council colleagues about that. The Security Council resolution state unequivocally that the resolution of all of the issues related to the definitive settlement of the Israeli-Palestinian situation can only be done exclusively through a direct dialogue between the leadership of Israel and Palestine. We think that this also applies to Jerusalem, the city which needs to be open for the representatives of all three monotheistic religions. Unilateral actions in order to review the agreements which were enshrined in the decision passed by the international community have become worryingly frequent. It is obvious for us that they cannot help with the attaining of just and lasting peace. And when it comes to the Middle East settlement, they cannot implement the national aspirations of the Palestinians or ensure the security of Israel. Unfortunately, those who undertake them not only do not demonstrate their readiness to see reason and stop, but they try to provoke new states, and this increases the risk of their involvement of the destructive Middle East conflict. We reaffirm the right for peaceful protest, and we firmly condemn the indiscriminate use of force against civilians. We call on sides to refrain from steps which could further worsen the situation. These events have shown yet once again that within the political vacuum, which has been in existence for about 4 years, the appeals to have decisions by force or change the earlier agreements are becoming increasingly high impact and destructive. But they have a very specific price, and the price is expressed in human lives, in tears, in broken lives, and dashed hopes. But irresponsible politicians are not stopped by that. As a result, we end up with a vicious circle when violence follows violence. Given these explosive conditions, there is a need to urgently intensify the efforts by the international community aimed at resuming the political process between the Palestinians and Israelis on the basis of well-known international legal basis. This includes the Security Council decisions and principles which are contained in the Arab Peace Initiative. And the outcome of this should be the implementation of the two-state formula and creating an independent and sovereign Palestinian state with a capital in East Jerusalem. We, on our part, will continue to consistently facilitate the two-state solution approved by the international community for the Israeli-Palestinian settlement. We have offered our mediation offices more than once. We have offered to host a summit between the leaders of Palestine and Israel in order to launch a direct dialogue. And this offer of ours remains in force. The vacuum in constructive international efforts, as was shown by recent events, is very dangerous. We think in particular that it is timely to reactivate the work of the Middle East Quartet of international mediators, which remains, no matter what anyone says, a universal, unique mediation format, which is enshrined in Security Council resolutions. We also welcome and support the involvement in the Middle East settlement of constructively minded regional players, in particular Egypt. We underscore the importance of work which is being carried out by the UN and specialized agencies at the occupied Palestinian territories and in refugee camps. It is irreplaceable for the hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, the support that is they receive from the UN Relief and Works Agency for Palestinian refugees in the Near East. To sum up, I would like to point out the following. Despite the ambitious plans of some international players and their grandiose projects, recently the world, including the region of the Middle East, has not become safer. Many international actions were undertaken which are at variance with international law, and they only compounded the destabilizing tendencies. And the situation in the Palestinian territories now is a good example of the fact that the situation is going in the wrong direction. Unfortunately, in the past days, we have the ever firm conviction that those who undertake such steps have no intention of changing that direction. Thank you.
I thank the representative of Russian Federation for his statement.